let's talk about the N word. And just so we're clear, when I say the N word, that refers to no, like saying no. Yes, I indeed say the N word just to provoke and just to raise some hairbrows and also to get some attention. And that's fine. But let's get on with it. Saying no is more important than you think. And I've previously been talking about how it's important to say no when you enter a negotiation. Because in any sort of negotiation, if you don't say no, if the other party doesn't say no, then they're not being sincere. They're not being honest because there's always a hiccup, right? Let's say that you and your buddy plan to go somewhere. You and your buddy, you plan to go on a vacation together. And whilst, you agree that let's go visit Antigua and Barbuda. I've never been to that country. It's probably a beautiful country. I love to go. And we shall see whether I do it one day. Anyway, so you guys want to go to Antigua and Barbuda, and you really want to go scuba diving there because you've heard great things about the scuba diving stuff. But your buddy wants to go hike. Now, full confession, I don't know anything about Antigua and Barbuda. I think you can do both. I think you can go hike and scuba dive. And let's say that your buddy is more keen on doing hiking and you want to do scuba diving. And you sit down and you discuss. Naturally, there's going to be an inclination point. And then when your buddy starts talking about, all these hikes that we're going to do, we're going to go hiking every single day. There's so many mountains there. There are so many mountaintops. We need hiking boots. We need rucksacks. We need proper clothing. We need this. We need that. If you don't say, hold on, no, I want to go scuba diving instead. I was imagining a trip where we go scuba diving instead. If you don't start sorting those matters out right away, then what happens when you go to Antigua and Barbuda? One of you guys is going to, or to one of you guys, it's going to suck because you weren't straightforward and honest with each other in advance of going to the vacation, right? That's the basic principle of saying no. But by the way, I should say also this. I was taught this from from Jim Camp via Ben Settle, just so we're clear about this, because I like to give credit where credit is due. If you haven't read the books of Jim Camp, No and Start with No, they're about negotiations, about high-level negotiations. I think it was actually negotiating billion-dollar deals, if I'm not mistaken. Certainly million-dollar deals that would go on for years. Then start reading those books. They're highly recommended. Anyway, getting back to the importance of saying no here. Also, when you're talking with a friend, or this is so basic, but I am being really basic here because I see this every single day. I see this in discussions between people and see this in conversations online between people that really aren't just friends, but are also acquaintances and potentially business acquaintances. Is it that people are so afraid of saying no? Why are you so afraid of saying no? Why are you afraid of being real? Hey, you want to go to the store and get some ice cream? No. But why? Why don't you want to go to the store and get some ice cream with me? I said, no, I don't want to go. Yeah, but why? Is it the ice cream? Is it the calories in the ice cream? You want to go for coffee afterwards? You don't want to go to the store? I just want to go somewhere. I said no. And now you've just proven, because now I'm talking to the other party here. Now you've just proven that it was all about you going somewhere and getting out of the home, whilst I wanted to remain. And now I'm being honest. And if you think about it, there are so many people, because I noticed this, there are so many people who are afraid of saying no because they don't want to insult the other party. That's just dumb. Because guess who you really end up insulting? You end up insulting yourself. You end up insulting yourself by accepting that you do something that somebody else wants to do at the expense of yourself. So you end up insulting yourself really, because you yourself aren't that much worth. But that's the wrong way to think about it. Think about it. I literally said think about it twice, but it makes sense. Stop being afraid of saying no. Just be real, be honest. Because what's going to end up happening is those people who don't accept you for saying no really will weed themselves out. In the example of going to the ice cream or going to the supermarket and getting some ice creams, the other person just wanted to get out of the home, but you didn't want to. And it was more about them than it was about you. It wasn't about you two doing an activity together. It was about you getting out of the home, or about the other person getting out of the home. That was what it was about. And so that's kind of selfish, don't you think? No, you need to come with me because I know what's best for us. Well, you don't, because people are different. And what may be best for you might not be best for me. Because when I want to go somewhere, I go somewhere when I want to go somewhere, because I'm an adult. And after I turned 18, I don't need to explain myself. I don't need to explain my decisions. The answer is no. Think about it. Think about how much more respect people are going to gain from you. Yeah, like I said, there's going to be a few losers who will weed themselves out, and you don't have to deal with them anymore, including the Tevs. Including the Tevs, by the way. The Tevs are going to weed themselves out as well. And what's going to happen is you're going to have more authentic and genuine and real relationships just by saying no. This is a very basic way of living, yet even in 2026, at the time of the recording, it's January the 6th, 2026, in the beginning of the year. And I bet you in 1 year, on January the 6th, 2027 and 2028 and 2029 and 2030 and beyond 2030, people are still going to be afraid of saying no because they don't want to insult anybody. Stop insulting yourself. That's the basic message that I'm giving, or that's the essential message that I'm giving here. Stop insulting yourself, because that's all you're doing when you don't say no if you don't really want to do something. And that's precisely what the Tevs, the nasty time and energy vampires, take advantage of. Anyway, so if you want to learn more about time and energy vampires and about saying no and about protecting your own time and energy and also time and energy management, then get subscribed to my email list. The link to do so is below the episode description wherever you are watching and or listening to this. And I will see you there.